What's going on, everyone? I'm Logan, the 64th Gear Jammer Skeele, and welcome to a special Toy Talk. I reached a milestone on YouTube at the end of last week, so it's time to throw a subscriber thank you party. Guys, I made it to 1,000 subscribers, and because of that, I wanted to take time to thank you all for this great milestone for my channel. Over 85% of YouTube channels never reach this point for various reasons. So hitting this first major milestone is huge. I couldn't have done it without all of your support. So thank you for subscribing, tuning in, and following along. I set this channel up to talk about more than just the diecast models. The other diecast channels were doing that. So I wanted to talk about more, like how the models are made, histories of the model manufacturers, and information on the real machines. I appreciate you enjoying the extra information on the models enough to take time to watch, like, subscribe, and comment on my videos. Thanks to you enjoying the content, we have made it possible to grow to this first major milestone. Now I want to make a few shout outs for my most loyal followers, starting with the Premier Gang. Thank you for tuning in 3 nights a week and chatting during the premiere goes out to Ben, Noah, Mr. J, Jaden, John, Caitlin, Fred, Cam, Colson, and everyone else who pops in occasionally to chat and have fun as the video premieres. I also want to give a shout out to one of my fans out in Escondido, California. Thank you, Luis, for watching and commenting on my videos. I also have to give a shout out to Rio Does Things for becoming the magic 1,000th subscriber on Thursday, April 29th, 2021. And finally, I want to give a shout out to Harley R. in Saskatchewan for sending me my first fan mail postcard. It was very much appreciated to get when I checked my P.O. box, and it gave me a great big smile. Without all of you, this channel would be nowhere, and I am thanking you again for getting me to 1,000. Next step is 10,000 subscribers, and I know with your support and help, we can make it. I know a few of you have asked me to talk about a custom that I've made, and I don't really make many customs, but for this special occasion, I will talk about one of my few customs. I'm going to talk about my 1/16 scale Chevrolet C65 log truck that I built many years ago. And guys, I said I was going to talk about a custom that I made, and this is one of the very few customs that I have ever made. It is in 1/16 scale, and it's based on the Diecast Promotions Highway 61 Chevrolet C65 flatbed that they made. And the red one was from the very, very first release that they ever made. It features an opening hood, opening doors on both sides. It had a flatbed on it, which had simulated wood grain bed on it with a steel rim around it. And the detail was so incredible, they even went down and put the opening glove box on these. Now, the side windows, it did not have actual side windows, but it does have the little wind wing in there. And there are door locks, door panels, and everything else inside. Really, really sharp. They even did a full detailed dashboard inside with gauges that you could read if you can find a way to see them. There's a tampo on the steering wheel, a gear shift, seat, full dashboard, and everything. On the outside, it's got the door handle, and it has a door lock on it, along with a grab bar. It came with 2 mirrors, which these are chrome plated and they've weathered a little over time, which I really like the look of the weathered mirrors. Then detailed big block V8 engine in under the hood. Detail so fine that you can even read the warning on the carburetor there. And it has radiator, fan belt, all complete detail on the engine. Then it's the alternator, power steering pump, hoses, brake box or vacuum brakes with the hydraulic brakes. There's the clutch. Battery is under the hood. Steering box. It has working hinges, and they are incredible, these little working hinges. Let me see if I can raise it and lower it. See them work over there? There's the blower fan for the heat and air conditioning, if this even had air conditioning. And there's the battery and full wiring. There's also up there, you can see the headers for the exhaust. On the front, individual dual style headlights. The individual dual style headlights. And then it has the boxes over there for turn signals. And they are individual parts. There are actually 3 parts. There's a black piece that makes up the box. There's a turn signal, amber lens on the front, and a red lens on the back, which is the way they would have been in real life. C65 badge on the door. Close up the hood. You can see the cowl is right there with the vents, and it also has windshield wipers. Up on the roof, there is the roof lights, and they are individual pieces. 2 parts. There's a black base, and then the lens that is orange. Super job they did on this truck. Tires are, they're 5-spoke Daytons with Goodyear bias ply tires, even down to having the valve stem on them. Isn't that really cool? Full detail on this truck. Brake booster and vacuum tank. The exhaust is there. Drive shaft underneath. Then it has the rear differential and spring suspension. Now, it does look dirty because it actually has a little bit of a weathered look to it. And part of that comes from the logs. And after all, log truck wouldn't be clean. The log bed. Now that's the part that I really made for this truck. Each of the 3 bunks, there, and there, are made out of brass square stock that is painted black after I soldered it together. And then I put little triangles here so that it would have the little extra support. The frame is made out of brass rectangular stock, and the headache rack is also made out of brass square stock and all soldered together. The logs, well, they're tree branch limbs off of a maple tree that I cut up, and then I treated them with just a little bit of clear lacquer over the time, but it has worn off and the bark is starting to chip off. But still, they look really cool. They look just like great big logs. You see them right back there. The chains came with it, and there's chain binders, but I never bothered to actually chain it down properly because I like to put it back in the box for storage. It just takes up way too much room. So I just put it always back in its own box with storage. The one thing about this model is it is very heavy. It has mud flaps on the back, and then I had to hand make my own brackets for them. It's just continuous thread. I painted black, and then I made some hooks that would go over the thread and through the mud flap. Pretty simple. I attached the frame with continuous thread and lock nuts. You can see one there. The truck has the brake lights on the back, which are the old box style, which were like pretty much on every single truck back in the day. And it has a working pintle hitch right here. It opens, you could put something on, and then closes it up. It also has an Indiana license plate on the back. Now, the license plate was original. I was thinking of putting a 75 Kentucky plate, but I just never did. There you can see the back of the log frame on the bed and the bottom of the log bunk. They are all brass. Now, it sticks back behind the rear axle the same length that the actual flatbed did. And there you can see my
what poses for old growth logs. They're really just branches off of an old tree, but you can see real nice rings. It is real wood, real bark. It is not simulated plastic fake wood. It is real. And you can see how my chain is loose because I never bothered to take the time. I'm going to put it right back in its box after I'm done anyway. So now let's look through the passenger's door. Kind of hard to see in there, but if it'll focus, maybe it will. There we go. Now you can see the steering wheel. You can see the glove box is actually down because the glove box door does open. Steering wheel, gear shift, and the seats. Real nice Western style Western style upholstery on the seats. Dashboard is really sharp, tan and dark brown. Come back. You can see the door handle, the key lock, and all the rest of the detail. Maybe see the sides of the seat, and then you can see the door panel there. It does have, granted it doesn't really want to focus on it. There we go. It has the manual crank for the windows, door latch for the actual opening of the door, and it has the armrest with the little slot in it so you close the door. Also, you can see the glove box is open. They also put on the floor of this truck the extra lever for the PTO because they did offer this truck as a grain truck later on. Now the grain trucks, they're $450 to $500 a piece, and these trucks as flatbeds will run you $350 to $400 a piece today if you can find them. They are very, very hard to find. They were 1/16 scale and perfect for our layouts. For the farmers, they just loved this truck. When they came out, we sold them for $65 to $70 a piece as fast as we could put them on the table. Original retail was $85. That was MSRP, but they didn't sell for that. They sold for a lot less. Now, good luck for even finding one. Come back here around and look a little bit more at the back. Isn't that truck beautiful? Now this truck weighs about 5 to 6 pounds, and that was one of the downfalls of the C65 is the weight. They had a tendency to break the plastic frames. They have a die-cast cab and a plastic frame. The truck had good free-rolling wheels on it, so it rolls very nicely. It had opening hood, opening doors, and it actually has steering that's based on the steering wheel. You can see as I turn the wheel, it wants to steer. It actually has a working steering gearbox, and all the steering linkage is correct, just the way it should be. I don't steer it much because it's very, very, very stiff and hard to do. Another little note, it has its own VIN number on the dashboard. How cool is that? And then there is the grill for the radio speaker, which they put one right there. Really, really cool. Steering wheel, and it also has a turn signal lever right there on the steering wheel. Chevy bow tie in the steering wheel hub center cap where the horn is. You can see the gear shift again. And if you look real close, you can see the gauges, the tach, and the speedometer right there. And those numbers are readable if you can ever find a way to see them. Now I'll pick it up just a little bit. Again, it's heavy, so I'm going to be very careful how I pick this thing up. And show you underneath the chassis. There it is. There's the bottom of the engine. You can see where the exhaust comes off the manifold and heads to the mufflers. The drive shaft coming out of the transmission. The spring front suspension, and then you can see the big axle on the front with kingpin style steering and tie rod. You can also note that they, from the looks of it, it would steer, and I showed you how it steers. Really, really cool tread pattern on those tires. Great vintage a Goodyear bias ply tread pattern, and then there is the spring front suspension, and it has spring rear suspension. If I can turn it sideways a little bit. There, you can see it. Also note how that drive shaft goes from the front all the way to the rear differential with a really nice rear differential. And it has different tread pattern on the rear duals. They're spaced a little wide in my opinion, but that's probably the only real big problem that was. I think the tires should have been a little closer together, but that's the way they made this, and it's okay. You can see how my log bunk is right way down there, and see how the little angles are. Those are just two little pieces of brass flat that I cut and soldered on. Now I'm going to set him back down because he is a little bit heavy. Really cool grill and bumper. They also offered a chrome bumper on some of these, but this one has the body painted. Personally, I like the white bumper they put on them because that was really, really common. And you can see those two box style turn signals there. Now, stand up and show you one more thing about this truck. I've said I made this truck back 2005, 2006, 7-ish, somewhere in there. But in 2012, I entered it in the Spencer County FFA Farm Toy Show and won Best 1/16 Scale Truck for the Best 1/16 Scale Custom Truck that year with this particular log truck. So it has a prize-winning truck, and that's the plaque that goes with it. And that, guys, is my 1975 Chevrolet C65 custom log truck. It's a die-cast cab on a plastic frame with a brass log frame bed. The bed is all custom by me, and the truck is in 1/16 scale, and the logs are real wood logs.
What did you think of my custom log truck? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you again for 1,000 subscribers. And to continuing growth in the future, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'm Logan, the 64th Gear Jammer Skeele, and after the party's over, I'll be back to work making more great videos just for you. So, see you next time on Toy Talk.